Hi, I'm Gretchen Mueller. I'm with Humana Military the Humana Military Healthcare Services Small Business Program. I'm the Small Business Liaison Officer. I noticed one correction in your agenda on my contact information. My email address is gmueller. It needs to be gmueller then the number 2 at humana.com or sblo at humana.com. gmueller, the number 2 at humana.com. There's a George Mueller. Will get your email if you send it to just G Mueller, and I'm sure George, he doesn't know what to do with your email. For those of you who don't know, Humana Military is the smallest large DoD contractor that you've probably never heard of. We are a top 15 government contractor. We deliver the TRICARE South Region contract, as well as other healthcare related contracts. One of our subsidiaries is Humana Veterans Healthcare Services, and they deliver the Project Hero contract, which assists veterans in getting healthcare when they're not able to be seen at the VA. And we also do patient appointing services for the military treatment facilities, as well as provide doctors in the VAs and the military treatment facilities. With me being, and a little bit about our history, we were formed by Humana Inc., the insurance company, in order to be the government contracting arm of Humana Inc. So we share a lot of resources with Humana, and that's one of the things you're going to find with some of the larger defense contractors. They have their commercial side of business and their government side of business. So becoming a vendor or a subcontractor with them, you need to learn to navigate through their system. I'm the Small Business Liaison Officer, SBLO. So what I primarily focus on is teammates. And I'm going to use two terms, vendors and teammates. With the teammates, these are the people that we pursue contracts with. There's a teaming agreement, both your names are on the proposal and you're going to the government together. With vendors, that is done through our supplier diversity manager. And you're going to see that a lot of the large contractors, they have a supplier diversity manager. That's the people who deal with the day-to-day business. We need pencils and computers and web hosting and those type of things to do our everyday business, and we need small businesses to help us with that. So our supplier diversity manager handles the vendor type services, where the SBLO handles the teaming arrangements. Or I have to look at my notes here. Now, as the Small Business Liaison Officer, what I do is I develop our small business subcontracting plan that I turn into with the bid when we bid on large contracts like TRICARE and Project Hero. So I need to basically estimate not only what we're going to subcontract out as teammates to small business, but also what our vendor services, the makeup of those. Anything we're going to spend outside our walls, I have to determine what percentage of that is going to go to veteran-owned small business, service-disabled veteran-owned small business, women-owned small business, hub zone, all the different categories. One of the ways that I do that is I look through the vendors list, I look at our previous spend, I look at things that we buy, and who do we have on our list that we possibly can subcontract or use as a vendor for those services. And then I create my goals based on that, turn it in, it gets approved by the SBA through the contracting officer. One of the things with the vendors, and I'm sure you guys hear this all the time, is it tells you, when you go up, you're at a trade show and you walk up to my booth and they say, I sell pens, do you need any pens? And I tell you to go on my website and register. And you probably get sick of hearing that. But the only way when I'm filling out my small business subcontracting plan for me to know, I know I'm going to buy pens, the only way for me to know you exist is if you register. So I know it feels like you're just getting brushed to the side, but register, register, register. When Lockheed Martin tells you to register, register. There is no way for vendors to get business from Humana Military or any other large top 15 defense contractor without registering on their website. As far as searching out their SBLOs, for people interested in teaming, most of the SBLO information is available on just about every top 15 defense contractor's website has their SBLOs listed. If you sell pens and computers, like I said before, you're wasting your time to send the SBLO an email because they have no say over it, the supplier diversity manager. So that's back to the registration. But if you send me an email and you're interested in teaming, capability statement is something that I'm definitely going to need. I'm definitely going to need past performance. If I want to know what you've already done. Something that might make you stand out is any connections you have in the agency that you already work with. If you're a Department of the Army and you have a great rapport with one of the contracting officers, you have some information, something's going to be coming down the line, let me know that in that initial email. We do get a lot of emails, and it's a little qualitative what we look through on those. Now they all get kept for when I'm making my small business goals, but just so you know, any extra something you can add into your capability statement is going to help it get noticed. Back to my notes again. Now you might ask, as far as why do large businesses need small businesses? With the new administration, a lot of things are coming out in big bundled contracts that are too big for a small business to do on their own, but they're big enough that a large business is interested in them. You might be looking through FedBiz Ops and you see something and you think, I can do that part, but I can't do the rest. It's a small business set aside. You should approach a large business about it because they probably would be interested in working on it with you. If you come to them with something, they're going to be more likely to talk to you versus, what do you have for me today? Proactive and being proactive and patient is two big key factors in doing business with large defense contractors. And I forgot his name, I'm drawing a blank, SBA? Billy. When Billy was up here, he talked about knowing your rules, your limitations, affiliations, those type of things. That is very important. Now, it's the SBLO's job to know the whole federal acquisition regulations about affiliation, about limitations on subcontracting. But our senior management doesn't always know, or they are looking at numbers, like he said, as large business. So when you're working with a large business, don't assume that they know every single regulation that's on you as a small business. If you're going as the prime and the large business is going as a subcontractor, remember that 4951, but it doesn't look good 4951. You want your work to be a majority of the work, and it needs to be discrete tasks. It's not just combining forces. If you just combine forces, you're going to be deemed affiliated, you're going to be deemed large. Don't let the large contractor bully you and write the proposal for you without your input. Don't let them promise things that you can't deliver, because it's going to hurt both of you, and that's going to hurt your past performance, and you're not going to get work through that contractor again. Trying to think of what else. Sorry, this is a little impromptu for me. When you're at a trade show and you're thinking, how do I get to meet these large businesses? How do I develop a relationship? It was the same with the agency. You know, it's personalized. Danny here is one of our partners with Humana Military. He's been a partner for a year. I know a lot about Danny because I talk to him regularly. We don't always talk business when we talk, but being personalized and also knowing who you're coming in to talk to. I don't like it when a small business comes and says, what does Humana Military do? I have a web page. It explains what we do. Go look at our web page and tell us how you can complement our services. Don't come in and expect me to figure it out for you, because it's not gonna work that way. We don't have time. We have our strategy. You can figure out our strategy for most people from our web page and figure out how you can complement that strategy. It's gonna get you noticed, because you'd be amazed at how many people do come in. What do you do? And how can I help you do it? I'm at the trade shows, the veterans organization trade shows, all the different trade shows, and I have small business come up to me and they say, what do you buy? Well, if you look, I'm a large business, I buy everything. Well, okay, and they will pull out 4 different business cards from 4 different businesses that sell everything from tissues to, web hosting. If you really had looked at my business, you probably would know that web hosting is probably done internally because we're large, but tissues are a vendor service, and it would have been better, instead of showing me that you're not serious about any of your businesses, to do the market research and figure out what we buy before you go to that show. Look at the booklets that they give you. They have every table and booth that's going to be there. and it saves a lot of time. And another thing, when you go to those trade shows, you get all the business cards, you get everything. When you send me an email, make sure that you said something to me that I'm going to remember. I've talked to 300 to 500 people in that one day, and that week after, I get bombarded with email. And it's hard to remember. I write notes on the business cards and I pull them out and try and remember. But if you notice that I had a Chicago Cubs case on my cell phone, and you mentioned something about baseball, say, the Cubs are doing great, and then I'm going to remember who you were. And that's going to help you get a response and get something set up. And I've had that happen. I had a Cubs case on my phone for a while, and I remembered them specifically because that impression they made at the show, that it was personal.
Only problem is Cubs aren't never doing.
No, they're not. No. Well, sometimes they do well until about September, and then I know, poor Cubs.